So welcome to the end of the 2054 season. My name is Paul, also known as the Northman, and my son has requested that I ask every one of you to go down and subscribe to the channel because he believes that I am close to 100,000 subscribers. I like the fact I heard my wife laugh in the background. He can dream. He has a vision that I'm going to get to 100,000. Yeah. He's only 8 before you all start. Give him a break, okay? Give him a break. If you do subscribe off this video, comment below. I still find it mad that I gain subscribers every time one of this series comes out. We're in 2054. New people watching it. So we have the intake to start on today. It's not bad. There's a couple to look at. First off is Faroe, the striker. 15 years old. He looks decent. He really does. I've definitely seen worse. You have Hugard, who again looks really solid. I've got him training, because obviously I'm at the end of the season at this point. I've got him training on his passing, etc., trying to improve him a little bit. Couple of years in the youth team, I honestly think he could develop into something quite special. Then Jacobson is the final one we will look at, who again looks fairly decent. Poor personality, but hopefully we can just tweak that out of him. So our Champions League run started with a victory over Cologne. First game in the group stage, happy days. Paul on the score sheet and Mark Quadson getting 2. Now the fact we had beaten Cologne, who are a really good side now, was made even better when we got 6 out of 6 and beat Manchester City at the Etihad 4-1. Timo with a hat-trick. Our backup striker getting a hat-trick due to our main striker dropping out injured for this game. And Mark Quadson on the score sheet again in the Champions League. Brought down to earth with a bit of a bump after a 1-0 defeat at home to Lyon. But with 6 points from the first 9, we were definitely ahead of schedule at this point. So when we went on to make it 9 points out of 12 when we beat BK Håkon with get the words on, Vladimir on the score sheet and then Kobe scoring 2, who clubs have been sniffing around again and again, but we are managing to hold on to him. But a 3-1 victory made it 9 points out of 12. 12 points out of 15 happened when we got a 1-0 victory away from home to Arsenal with the 89th minute winner. Now, they had a little bit more possession and a few more shots, but at the end of the day, we held our ground and managed to score in the 89th minute to make a 1-0 win. Now, we have just finished the first 6 games before we go into the winter break, and with a 3-1 victory over Dortmund, we have 15 points from 18. We are looking fantastic in the Champions League. Kobe, Lundemer and Vladimir on the score sheet. So currently we are 1 point off top, sitting in 3rd place. And 1 win in the last 2 games. In fact, a point, I think, in the last 2 games would see us guaranteed a top 8 and straight through into the round of 16, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm honestly delighted. If I go back, I think we've done it once. But now I'm going back, I don't think we've ever done it. No. So this time could be our first ever top 8 finish in the Champions League group stage. Now we did go on for the second year in a row. I'm struggling to speak. Must be the excitement. And win the cup. A 4-1 victory over our B team, ABB. 4-1 victory. Really, really pleased with how we played in this game. We looked dominant. Lundamo, Kobe and Paul with 2. I'm genuinely shocked how good we looked in this game. 19 shots against 4. And I know it sounds strange to be so shocked against our B team, but our B team been really, really good this year. So to dominate them like that, I was delighted with how we looked. And that obviously secured the treble. Winning the league, winning the cup and winning the Super Cup. Now domestically in the league, quite disappointed. Won 26, drew 1, lost none. The final game of the season. This one here. Away to Vesta, we had a Champions League game 2 days after this. So I rested most of our squad. If I go into the game, you can see if I go to like our formation. So we played Gargo in goal, Lindemark, Flood, one of our youngsters, Gardianga, who was that Senegalese guy we picked up in Kielstrip, Sterler and Milsalovic, Dalsgaard, 16, Connolly and Timo. We dropped points on the final day of the season. We had a chance to make it, played 27, won 27. We didn't do it. Now, if I can get all my words out to finish this video, you will see our supporter profile update, which I forgot to recap for a few years now. So we have 32.8 million social media followers now. Now, if you remember back, we had about 20k or something near the start. So it's absolutely insane how much we have. We're in a really, really strong position. One thing to point out, the Senegalese guy who we just brought in this year is wanting to leave due to lack of football, so we are trying to move him on at the minute. Now, in terms of how people have performed, then Kobe was top goal scorer with 33 goals from attacking midfield. Vladimir with 28 from the right wing. Paul with 17. Timo with 12. 16 with 12. Lundamore with 11, Mark Quadson with 9, Dalsgaard with 4. In terms of assists, Kobe again topping that, 26. Paul with 19, Sterler with 17, and Vladimir from the right wing with 12. Vladimir's been insane, like 18 years old, 5 caps for Germany. The issue we've got with him, he's very much wanted, and he does have that minimum fee release of 17.25. And trying to renew his contract, the agent keeps locking in a 16 million bid release fee. So, yeah, we've had him for 22 league games. You can see top right corner here. He's going to be leaving us in the winter. I'm fairly sure 12 clubs after him, one of them is going to meet his asking price. It's a bit upsetting. It is a bit upsetting, but sometimes players come and go quickly. A player who I'm just blatantly refusing to sell at the minute is Kobe. Yeah, he's just insane. 38 league appearances now for the club, 45 goals. If we quickly worked out in all competitions, 32 goals in the first season, 33 this season. So that's 65 goals in about 80 games, which is just insane in all competitions from attacking midfield. He's just turned into just an insane player. You can see he's an elite attack midfielder now. 17 caps for Mexico, 15 goals. He's just insane. I think he's the best player we've ever had. He's the best player we've ever had, and I've still said £100 million asking price. If somebody wants him, come and pay the £100 million. Otherwise, he is sticking around. A player who I am worried we are going to lose is Rene Vang. Clubs are after him again. He has that 20 million minimum fee release, which expires at the end of next year. I'm hoping no one hits that asking price, but I'm just fearful he's going to go. He's only 18. He's played 45 league games for this club already. We could be losing an academy player over this winter. I would like to try to keep as many people as I can going in next season. Zwenga, aged 31 now, has signed a 1-year extension. I had to pay him a little bit extra money, but the fact it's only a 1-year deal is nice. He's going to be 32 when we let him go next year. I think it's the right time. That's when his physicals will start to drop, etc. So we did finish the season with a fairly strong side. I do like the team we've got now with Otson in goal, Zwenga, Clean, Mark Quadson and Hjelhog. Castillo played in that game because Rene Vang was injured. He came in obviously to almost suck up to Cobb a little bit, having another Mexican, but I think next year he could try to make that position his own. Lindemark played in the defensive mid, but we do obviously have Hjelland, who is only 27 by the way. He's been with us a long time. Vladimir on the right wing, Cobb and Paul, and then Lundamore up top. Lundamore hasn't had the best start. 6 goals and 10 in the league, 11 and 18 in all competitions, but he's 18 years old. Honestly, I think next year he could just absolutely rock it off and score goals. So I'm excited how this team's going to develop. We've got some really good talent in here. We saw some of the academy players who have come through the intake again this year. And then you've got players like this guy who we picked up this year, Makela, who, again, is only going to get better. Mark Quadson going into next year, it's his last season with us. He is going to be He's going to be 32, almost 33 at the end of this next season. If he does agree to stay, then happy days. At the minute, he wants to explore his options at the end of his career. If he does agree to stay, we will keep him. We will offer him a squad position, for example, age 33. But at the end of next season, Michaela, I want to move into being our first choice centre-back alongside Peter Clean, who has signed a new deal, 5 years, with the extension of 3. So there's potential there for 8 seasons, which will take him up to the age of 31. And he could become a one-club person after a couple of loan deals, but they don't really count, do they? One-club person would be very, very nice. So the final bit of news before we go on to the national team is we have a new stadium coming. I said I wanted to end this series after the 2058 campaign, because around that point we should become the record holders for the Cup if we do win it every other year. The season before the stadium's going to be built, it's costing us 36 million, which we paid for outright, 25,000 capacity, and it's going to be called the Bram Ellison Park. I'm absolutely delighted we are getting a stadium named after us in this series. We've won the Europa League, we've won the Champions League, and we're now getting a stadium named after us, and we will be playing in that stadium in this series, which absolutely insane. So moving on to the national team, it's been a bad year. So we started with a 1-0 victory over Andorra, Thorsby on the score sheet. We then lost away to North Macedonia 2-0, at home to Slovenia 1-0. Then we drew against Belarus, didn't score a goal, they scored both. Then we lost away from home to Slovenia, so we've had some tough games. Then 2 kind of home games to end. At home to North Macedonia, Thorsby, Ludvig and Pettersson on score sheet. Then we just beat Belarus at a neutral venue in Norway, with Ludvig scoring both goals, both in the last 10 minutes. That saw us go from rock bottom to overtaking Belarus and surviving in National League C. Now, that's our level. With this bug within this version where all of my players are not getting citizenship, it makes it next to impossible to have progressed the national team. That's why it's become such a side thing within this series. So hopefully you guys do understand. People who have been with us throughout understand why we don't really put any focus onto the national team, because they're never going to develop into anything amazing in this short time. We're probably going to need another 100 years of me developing players through our academy before this team would probably push on. But yeah, it's been an interesting series so far. I think maybe we should quickly look at KI, because there's one last thing to show you. As always, the teams got knocked out in European qualification, except KI, who have somehow made it through to the Conference League group stage. There they are, behind my head. Where they are? They're there. Where you can see the badge here, Faroe Islands. 1-0. They drew a game against Standard Liège, lost 3. But the fact that they made it through, so the Champions League, they went out. Then they went through in a round of the Europa League qualifying against AEK from Cyprus. They drew 0-0 away from home before a 2-1 victory at home. They then came up in the playoff round against Club Brugge, which they went out to, but that saw them go into the Conference League. So they lost to AZ, lost to Gladbach, lost to Athletic Club. They then just drew against Standard Liège, and they are going to be next playing against Norrköping and then Rio Ave to end this season. So in the next video we will recap this in more detail. But their last 2 games in the Europa Conference League, hopefully they can pick us up some points and just help the coefficient ranking. Just that little bit. But that's been it for today's video. I have struggled to speak in it. I will acknowledge that. Apologies for that. It's been a bit of a spluttering video. But thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. Hopefully you enjoyed another recap of the season. You can see there 25 cup titles now. 29 would see us be the most successful ever. And hopefully in 2058 we will still succeed and do that.